of all ages. Welcome to the Better Pain podcast, a wrestling podcast that keeps you up to date in the world of wrestling. As always, I am your host with the most, Phil Better, and with me, as always, is the Mistress of Pain, Tyler. How are you doing, Tyler? See, I got the name right finally. I'm learning.
You did. You can be trained.
Yay!
I am doing
No
excellent.
punishment.
We started
So,
late, so I'm already one beer in.
woohoo! Yes, we did start late. We were supposed to be there Monday, but unfortunate circumstances popped in and stopped us for that. But we're moving forward. We're getting better and bigger and better and all that fun stuff. Or we're not going to be a disappointment. But ladies and gentlemen, Taylor, how has your week been? What's new? What's exciting in your world? I said your name wrong, didn't I?
You
I
did.
did.
Yeah. What was new and exciting is you got it right one time. Just one time.
We went one day,
What's
ladies and
new?
gentlemen. One day correct. It's a new record. So, Tyler, how can we
What's new
make
in
your day
my
better?
world is I don't know if anybody else picked up on the teaser of a Big E Owens match, but I picked up on that and I am for it. We
Yeah, you did mention
definitely,
it.
definitely need to see this.
Now the question is, will it be for a belt?
I think it should be. I mean, Owens dropped the ball and lost against Cruz, so no belt there. But maybe a little triple threat. Maybe we can sneak one in the door that way.
That would be great. That
Hey,
would be
why
good. I
not
want to
throw
shout
Sami
out to
Zayn in
everybody
the mix
watching.
and really screw it all
Ooh,
up?
that could be interesting. John, thank you so much for tuning in. A loyal supporter of the show and all my stuff. I hear I do it, so it's always great to see you. Thank you very much. Yeah, Big E for the Big E. Kevin Owens, good matches. Kevin Owens is an amazing fighter. We know he's put on big matches, main evented WrestleMania. He is the guy that can put nearly anybody over. He works well with everybody. He's like the Stone Cold Steve Austin. You put him into a match, and he's going to make fire happen. So I would love to see him against Big E, who's this big muscle, a guy he hasn't really tussled with before. And you throw in the Nigerian prince himself, Apollo Crews, with his athletic abilities. There could be a lot of golden moments in that match. That match will just be headline any pay-per-view coming up.
Definitely throw in Sammy's for a little bit crazy. We're practically in the Attitude Era.
That is correct. That is correct. Now, what's happened in the world of sports? Unfortunately, or in the world of pro wrestling, our dramatic pro wrestling. I've been busy being a podcast mogul, so I missed some of the stuff. But what's happened in the world since we last talked, Mistress?
Well, you definitely missed a new Alexa Bliss video with Lily as her little companion. She's warming up on me. I have to say, I do like it when, bully girls get pushed off the swings and break their arm. That makes me contented.
Yes. No one likes a bully.
No one likes a bully. That does not say that I am condoning violence against children. Let's just be clear. But, coming from somebody who was bullied and would have liked it all to push somebody off the swings for me, that would have been excellent. The character is developing better. It does look like she's making a comeback to the ring because she stated quite clearly that Lily never liked him, and she doesn't like any of the little mean girls in the locker room either. So I think that is going to start a lovely little snowball rolling down the hill. And I think all of the women on the roster are going to be getting in its way.
Ooh, it's going to be interesting. Do you see her going against some of the more powerful sized people like Nia Jax or Shayna Baszler or even Tamina, who far outweigh our little Alexa Bliss? What do you think of those people maybe rumbling with her?
She's already taken on Jax, so I don't see why she wouldn't do it again. I'd like to see her take on Tamina. Tamina seems to be getting a push lately. She did win her match with a super kick, which, while I'd like to see her pull something other than a super kick out of, her back pocket, she did win, and that's a push that she hasn't had in some time. So I'm down for that. Um, Shayna Baszler would be a match. that would be cool. I wouldn't say no to a Bianca Belair match either, because
Ooh.
I think the difference in not so much size, because Belair is not huge, but the strength versus the dexterity
Mhm.
is, the gamer in me is on board with this 100%.
Yeah, it would be an interesting match. You have Bianca Belair, who's getting this amazing push. Well deserved, of course, because she is the EST, as she likes to say, in the women's division at the time. She's standing at the top. She's beaten Sasha Banks. She's beaten some of the most really great wrestlers in the female division, and we have a very great crop this time. Seeing her against Alexa Bliss would be interesting. I can't remember if they've matched off in NXT, but I don't believe they have. So seeing a former NXT champion in the abilities of Alexa Bliss going against the EST would put butts in seats, that's for sure. Just in the pure beauty aspect, but as a wrestling fan, their match would be insane.
Hmm.
Do you think they would do
Yeah,
something extreme for their match? Like a dollhouse type fight or something like that? Or do you think it's going to
that
be a
would be
straight match?
cool, but I think it'll more likely be a straight match because the dollhouse is very, very simple and
Mhm.
doesn't have all the nooks and crannies and fun little BD spots that, the Firefly Funhouse had and the Graveyard Match and things like that had. Um, Location match and gimmick matches are always something that I'm a fan for. I think that the Jack in the Box aspect that we saw at WrestleMania is going to be maybe not constant, but I think that's coming back. I think that's going to be one of those weird little things that you just throw in. It works, and it's not really high maintenance.
Mhm.
Um, and I like to see more of that.
Okay. Yeah. More wrestling is always better, especially from the women. We did touch on Mr. Riddle last time and his kicking of the shoes and slippers, or flip flops, if you will. And you said that you weren't a fan of him except for the flipping floppy kicks that he does. I got a text from one of my friends who says that. Let me just read it to you, and I want your opinion on this. He's like, I like this Riddle kid. What? Why do you dislike Riddle so much?
It's the laid back surfer attitude and the pompy strut to the ring and the silliness of it. I kind of want a little bit more aggression, a little bit more, violence waiting to happen. Then I might pick some daisies and perhaps go to a Mishui later, kind of thing. Gonna get my belly done full. I want a little bit more, commitment to the wrestling. That said, the flip flops did win me over. I can at least watch a match without, yelling profanities. So I'm
That's
kind of
it's
on
always
board.
good when you don't swear. Apparently that's what my parents say, but I swear like a sailor. Cavity speakity dickety here.
It might be a
Um,
problem.
that might be a problem. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I said my major problem with him is the same thing as you. It's his stoner esque attitude. It's outplayed. I've yet to meet a stoner like that. Every stoner that I've met are pretty high functional stoners. They've
Mm,
learned like how to use weed properly to their advantage, if that.
like
Or
RVD.
yeah, look at how crazy RVD played the stoner, but it was an aggressive stoner because it was like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
laid back, but don't piss me off. But Riddle, I find, is just 24/7 too laid back.
Yeah, and like the kind of it's the Pompey little T-Rex walk. The I don't know where it comes from. And I'm told he did that in UFC. I don't keep nearly as up to date with UFC as I would like to, but um yeah, it's really a thing.
Yeah.
It's really a thing. It confuses me. It catches me off guard. The flip-flops, it's absolutely hilarious. I've got nothing against flip-flops. I don't know why, because I do not like feet or in general flip-flops. I think they're generally pretty gross. And seeing him come to the ring was in the flip-flops was an added negative until he kicked them off. And now I I plan my snack run around the flip-flops. It's not normal.
No, it's not. It's definitely not something most people would talk about. But yeah, that is something you can always measure your time around. When will the flip flops come? Um, Main eventing the Raw and SmackDown last week. SmackDown was interesting. You have Cesaro getting his push, but then also Daniel Bryant there. But the big dog seemed to go after the little Forster. Do you see a reason why?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've ever fed a dog raw food, but generally, goat is a go-to.
Okay.
So that makes sense to me. If I was a big dog, I'd want to eat a little goat. Um, and that was my take on that. I wish Daniel Bryan would stop getting push after push after push after push. I don't enjoy watching him. I don't enjoy his weirdly flubby muscular physique. It confuses me.
Does it
Be a
turn you
big
on
man.
though?
I'm not sure. And
Is that the problem? Is that the problem? You don't know whether to be turned on or not?
it's confusing. And especially like he's gotten rid of them, but the fake fur boots on the vegan, problematic. This is problematic. This doesn't work.
It's
Why?
probably why
I
he's
don't
gotten rid of them.
I would have to think so. Also, they were matted. Like, it's good that you're supporting your initiative. Like, I'm a vegan, and so I'm going to use false fur. That's good, excellent, and I support that because I don't really, in general, support fur. But I wouldn't put it on my boots either. I have confusion. I think he's reckless. I don't think he's fun to watch. I'm down for flubby people. I really think that a thick wrestler is super interesting to watch. So I'm not body shaming. I'm just confused at why he's so cut, but still kind of like
He's
loose
got the
in the
dad bod
skin.
of wrestling.
It's not even a dad bod. It's like he doesn't have a belly. It's just the skin that's a little loose in the place where a belly could be if he was adorable. Anyways, like his physique gives me confusion. His personality gives me blandness. It's like walking into the kitchen and making a bunch of lentils, and not putting anything on them and then trying to digest them as a quality meal. Like, yes, they have all the nutrition you could possibly want, but they don't have anything else that you could possibly want.
I love how
And
you
that's
went with
Daniel Bryan.
lentils and not oatmeal because everybody would have said oatmeal. It's like making a oatmeal. You went, no, I'm going to go exotic because just like him, he's from Whole Foods and they have lentils.
It's a vegan thing because lentils
Uh,
have a huge amount of nutrients. They really are kind of an everything food versus oatmeal. It's good. It's good for you. It's got some iron, but it's not like he's definitely a very talented athlete, but he should just stay an athlete, not a performer. And,
okay.
the lentils should stay, under my quinoa and everything else that is
That you
delicious.
never have to see it again. Um, Now, Raw, there seems to be some questions about who's going to challenge for the title from the Almighty, or as like you like to call him, this scared, muscly man. Um, Drew McIntyre, Drew McIntyre, and the Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman, had a bit of a power fight going on.
I don't even know who I would like to win. I think they're both excellent. I love Drew. I'm still wishing for NXT Drew with the snap headbutts and the claymores out of nowhere. I'm wishing for that attitude to come back. I feel like he got hurt. He came back. The attitude was missing. The skills all there. I have nothing against that, and he's still a really good performer. But it was the I can't believe you dared do that to me that I'm missing. Um, Braun Strowman entertains me. I can't get enough. They get
You know how
these
you like
hands
your big
coming out
men.
of nowhere. Yeah, they get these hands coming out of nowhere. Um, the effort, like Braun Strowman came in with the Bobby Lashley face. He looked terrified. He did that bear hug thing for like all of 3 weeks. And
Mhm.
then he improved, and now he's not terrified. And so
But
we like him.
there's also the fact that he's been I think he's been given the Big Show effect. How Big Show, when he came in as this monster. Like when he came in, he was Bray Wyatt's muscle because I think it was Eric Rowan got hurt, and so they needed to replace Rowan. The late great Luke Harper was in there, so you had these big muscly men, and he was in that position, and then he got switched to a good guy, switched to a bad guy, switched to a good guy, just like the Big Show Paul White did when he showed up. And I think they finally maybe found a character for him, but Vince always has this hard time with big guys like Braun Strowman.
I feel like he wants to make them so much more and so much less than they are. Let
Yeah.
them have their personality and let them run with it. Let them do all the things. Um, Psycho Sid is a great example of this. Not a super defined, super elaborate character, but man, did it work. As a
Mm-hmm.
kid, that terrified me. I'm like, that crazy, very, very, very large, overtanned blonde man is going to come out of my nightmares. Like this is what I'm looking for. They don't all have to be terrifying, but they all have to have something that makes me think about it later in the day. If I can watch you and forget about you, I'm not watching wrestling, I'm watching a soap opera, and this is problematic. Like I'm not doing this.
No, it's true. They need to make those characters more believable. They have to make us want to see these characters one on one. Pardon me.
I gotta wanna
See,
hate you. I gotta wanna love you. I gotta wanna cheer. Make me make the effort to make noise.
mhm. Simple as that. 100% in agreement. Um, who should the tag titles? Tag wrestling is something that's problematic, especially with the WWE. They keep breaking up teammates left, right, and center when they're on these hot streaks. There's only a few that have been able to survive the deadly device that is the breaking up of a tag team. Um, who do you think go for the titles next?
Let's talk about newcomers.
Okay,
I'm talking about Mace and what was the other guy?
T-Bar.
T-Bar.
Yes,
First,
trying to
am
take
I the
out.
only one that noticed Mace looks like he should be a World of Warcraft character? And I would play him.
Oh, I think you would play with him for other reasons as well. But anyways,
I'm not super picky, but all that to say, I'm down with the totally different look. We haven't seen anybody who looks super different in some time other than the Fiend, which I was very down with this. I was very
mhm.
excited. Give me a wrestler that, you have to create a new mold for their action figure. I'm liking it. I'm also liking that they bring it. They're not squirrels that, spent an extra 2 hours in the gym and now they're on the main roster. They're bringing it. They're big dudes. They're ready to go. They're maybe not as polished as I could wish, but they haven't been around that long and they're making waves. I'd like to see, say, 3 or 4 more weeks, and I'd like to see them go.
Thank you very much, Paul. We love doing this, sharing the news, sharing podcasting with everybody, especially about wrestling. So yeah, if you want your comments on, just give us a comment, and all that, and share with a friend. If you're here live, give us a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, of course, hashtag replay. And tell us, what did you like about wrestling this week? Is there wrestlers we should be watching out? Let us know in those comments down below, or sending us a message on the show when you can, when we have our Facebook and all that, which is coming. It's just, there's a lot of stuff. I'm a mogul. Tyler is just very busy
Gorgeous.
being gorgeous. Yeah, she's just there being gorgeous and being
High life.
the mistress of this podcast. Now, let's go back. I want to go back in the history because Attitude Era is where we really grew up falling in love with wrestling. And that's right. Paul Wright is here with you. Yeah, Paul is right here with us. And you can write them there. What is your favorite Attitude Era match?
Oh, I think it was a nothing match, but I was
Okay.
live at the Bell Center and Goldust was there. And I was at the match with my mom. And this was during the time of Goldust with the wig and with
Ooh.
Marlena and the super hypersexuality.
Oh, I love that
And my
version.
mom and I, two little girls, we're sitting there and we're watching these matches. And we were there for Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, like everybody.
Wait,
Um,
was this the screw job?
no, I wasn't there for the screw drive job. We couldn't afford it. I have a single mom. Um, this was another, it was, I think, a Raw.
Okay.
And Goldust gets there, and I've got two, um, I guess middle aged is probably the best word. They seemed very old to me at the time, but I was like 14. Um, Gentlemen, and they are tutting and they are commenting and they are in full homophobe, disgusted mode. And lo and behold, Goldust gets, rear end towards us and he does the knee to knee caress. So I'm not a fan of homophobes. Um, I'm not a fan of bigotry. And so I let out the most enthusiastic, shrieking scream that I may have ever made in my whole life. And these poor scandalized gentlemen.
I think they were scandalized for another reason. That shriek probably
Oh, it
destroyed their
definitely gave
eardrums.
them a jump. Um, but these poor scandalized gentlemen did shut up and did proceed to actually comment on the match as a match and not as,
Bigotry.
terrible people. So that is my favorite wrestling moment. The match was actually good. He was fighting against, I can remember his mask, but I can never remember his face, his
Vader.
name. No, it wasn't
Kane.
Vader. It was Dragon something. He wore a
Oh.
green and yellow mask. He wasn't around long. In that match, actually, he got slammed up against the post and his head hit. And I saw him one more time on TV, and that was it. I think he must have concussed himself, like back of the head
Uber bad,
concussion.
yeah.
Like it was probably very bad, um, because it pretty much stopped the match. But up until that, I mean, both of them knew how to carry a match. Goldust in full
It's
theatrics
phenomenal.
is a sight, and you know he could do that against anybody and definitely show off. Um, I would say though that my second favorite match, I was live for Kane and Undertaker.
Ooh.
I still remember the full body anxiety that music puts in your soul when it starts and you're too close to the speakers.
Oh my god, I could only
It
imagine.
was there's nothing like that. There's nothing like the Undertaker's gong going off, you know. And they used to do it, they used to make such a thing out of it because fireworks weren't a big display in every match like they are now.
Mhm.
So it was basically like, oh, we're waiting for the next match. Everybody's getting popcorn, the beer guys walking around, lights out, gong, silence. And silence,
Yeah.
and then a few people get brave and you hear a cheer too. And your eyes start to adjust to the darkness out of nowhere, and then the lights come on and nobody's there. People start to cheer a little bit. Lights out, gong. And my mom, who, bless her, tried very hard to like wrestling. She liked boxing, and that is actually how I got into wrestling. I was up late, very, very sick one night, and a boxing match came on, and she tried to explain it to me and whatever. And then, the following weekend there was WWF at the time, WWE
Mm.
now, followed by WCW, followed by a few of the um, smaller productions were all televised kind of back to back to back for about 6 hours. And I was like, "Look, Mom, I'm watching what you showed me." And she was like, "No, you're not."
No, there's a big difference. Ah.
That's not good.
Well, speaking of boxing, which is really funny, it kind of segues into one of the other podcasts that I do every Monday. I go live with Kendrick and James on the 1-2 podcast, and we just recently had John Herman, I believe, or Leman, who is the one of the welterweight champions of the world in boxing. So, like, it's very interesting, the cross promotion that's going on. And if you're interested in combat sports, please check them out every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern for an hour. But that's my little plug I have to do. But yeah, the Goldust and the gong effect of Undertaker when you're listening and watching. I've unfortunately never had the opportunity to have a live Undertaker moment, because it must be something so surreal. I have, before it came out that notable racist Hulk Hogan was a racist. I was at his Bell Center return.
I was there too.
And it was such a huge moment. The noise that just felt like it echoed for eternity. And you saw the pure emotional moment that this man was having, coming back after an amazing fight against The Rock at WrestleMania, in Toronto. And he's here in Montreal and he's getting just that love and ovation. And then you find out that he's a noted racist and you're like, fuck him. But that probably
like
would
my
be...
childhood is kind of scrapped.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, my childhood had another problem in it. Yay. Jesus.
Like, I need more therapy.
Yeah, like, do I need another hero to be knocked down? Like, I'm scared to look at heroes. Like, I'm like, Ryan Reynolds is kind of cool. Don't hero-size him. He may end up being a bad guy.
I think we're safe with Ryan Reynolds and Betty White.
Yeah, I think
everybody else is questionable, but I'm pretty sure we're okay.
Mm-hmm. But my love of the Mistress, we're coming up here, and I'm going to give you the last little bit. Let them know where they can find you if they want to find you, or what they should do to make you happy.
Well, you should always tune into my podcast to make me happy. You should definitely look me up on Instagram. We will be certain to put my link and my info in the bottom. And follow us for more information. If you would like to hear us talk about any particular wrestler, any particular historical or present match, or any independent wrestling, please let us know in comments below, and we will be sure to look that up for you and give you a little plug in our next podcast.
She's doing a better job than me, and this is only like a week 4 here. Ladies and gentlemen, I am, of course, Phil Better, the Podcast Mogul. You can find me on Instagram at Podcaster Phil Better, or Podcast Phil Better. One of those, obviously, show notes down below. I have to get my intro done. I just recently changed it. But yes, we will have a Mistress of Pain Taylor Instagram and a whole bunch of other stuff for her. We're building that up and making her pretty. And we have some great things in the line for you guys to check out later if you want to support us here at the podcast. But yes, this is the Better Pain Podcast, a weekly podcast where we talk about wrestling. From anywhere from the independents to the pro leagues. We love talking wrestling. So if you have a wrestling match, if you have a wrestler you want us to check out, let us know, comment, send us all that information when we have email.
If you have
all
merch
that
you want us to show off,
yes, send us that merch. Let us know about that. The Mistress herself will always sport it because she looks better in merch than I do. No one wants to see my face. That's why I'm off to the side and she's got the big screen. I'm only here to facilitate her getting love from you guys. But again, thank you for tuning in. To everyone, John, you're always a pleasure when you post here. So thank you. Paul, thank you for tuning in. The 3 others that are watching now, thank you. Let us know what you guys think in the show notes and in the comments down below. I am, of course, so grateful for you all here. Have a great and painful day.